Well, I wish you didn't have to say your local imam and mention particular people, but I recall several years ago when I performed hajj and I was listening to people giving fatwas here and there, where I heard amazing things. I heard a lot of false and fabricated fatwas. And I think, since you said that you've been watching the program Hajj Step by Step, I pointed out to some of those fake fatwas. One fatwa which I call the cab driver's fatwa, and another which is called the barber's fatwa, because those who issued this fatwa must be beneficiary. So they say that if you are in a state of ihram, whenever you're coming to do tahallul, you cannot cut your own hair. You have to go to a barber. And also they make it even furthermore extreme by saying that nor can you cut somebody else's hair if you are in a state of ihram. So if we're a couple million people performing hajj, then we're stuck. We cannot do tahallul because we have to order barbers from Taiwan, from China, so that people who are not performing hajj can give us a haircut. That's false. That is not true. Whenever you finish the manasik and you're due to do tahallul, you can do your own self tahallul. You can, if you have your own razor, you can do cutting or trimming your hair. It should cover your entire head though. So if you do that in your hotel room, fine. Women, there are no barber shops for women. So if they cut their own hair, or if your roommate gives you a haircut in the room, that's perfectly valid. So we refuted this misconception and we said there is no such thing. Also, last episode there was another question. One brother would say that on Yawmun Nahr, the 10th day, the Eid day, the 10th of Muharram, when we return from Arafat, we throw the stones, then we go to perform Tawaful Ifada, the Tawaf for Hajj, which is also called Tawaful Ifada or Tawaful Ziyarah. That is the third pillar of Hajj. Hajj has 4 pillars: Ihram, Arafah, Tawaf, and Sa'i. So some people are very strict and they say that you must perform Tawaful Ifada on the 10th of Muharram, which is not true. No doubt it is preferable. The Prophet ﷺ did perform Tawaful Ifada on the 10th. But guess what? In many narrations he was able to return back to pray Dhuhr. He led the Dhuhr prayer in Mina. In one hadith. There is another hadith which says that he prayed in Mecca, and a combination of both, that he prayed once in Mecca, then when he returned to Mina he found the companions were waiting for him to lead them in Dhuhr prayer, so he led them in Dhuhr prayer, that he prayed again. Because the entire number of pilgrims who were performing Hajj at the time with the Prophet ﷺ were approximately 124,000. That's it. And it's a huge plain desert, riding on the back of their camels. And the distance from Mina to the Haram is only 7 kilometers, 4.5 miles. You can walk, but because of the exhaust, because of the carbon dioxide, because of the millions of cars and buses and the traffic jam, it's impossible for people to walk if they don't know the direction as well, and they can get sunstroke. So what I mean is, it's very hard for most people to leave from Mina on the Eid day, to go to the Haram, perform Tawaf with ease, then perform Sa'i, then return back before sunset. Some people can do that, but the vast majority of people cannot do. So we say that if any person decided to postpone their Tawaf to the 11th, to the 12th, to the 13th, that is permissible. Before they leave, they postpone their Tawaful Ifada until the day of their departure, where they did Tawaful Ifada, and then they did the Sa'i for Hajj. Then they are exempt from doing Tawaful Wada'. They can just leave right away if it is the last duty they make in Mecca. So they are exempt, because the purpose of Tawaful Wada' is, as the Prophet ﷺ said, لِيَكُنْ آخِرَ عَهْدِكَ بِالْبَيْتِ that the last thing that you should do in Mecca is to perform tawaf around the house, around the ancient house, Al-Kaaba. So we should make things easy for people. The Prophet ﷺ, on that day, some people came and said, Ya Rasulullah, I shaved before I slaughter. I did this before that. I threw before I slaughter. I slaughter before I threw the stones. The Prophet ﷺ said, If'al wala haraj. If'al wala haraj. Which means, make up the rest and there is no blame on you. This is the Prophet ﷺ, not your local imam, not me, not any person who says I'm Hanafi or Shafi'i or Mali. This is the Prophet ﷺ. The right order is, on the 11th day, you throw the 7 peoples. You throw them at Jamratul Aqabat al-Kubra. Then you return. You slaughter your hajj. We don't slaughter the hajj by ourselves. We appoint others to do it. Consider it done. So can I shave my head now? Yes. I'm not sure whether they slaughtered or not. It doesn't matter. Because the order is sunnah. You go ahead and you shave or trim your hair. Dress up in your regular clothes. If you have a chance to go to Mecca on that day, right away, to perform tawaf and sa'i and come back, fine. If not, if your group leader, if your travel agent said it's impossible, there are huge screens which announces, do not approach the haram now. We're talking about 3+ million people want to perform tawaf at the same time, want to do sa'i at the same time, are heading to the same direction simultaneously, returning back simultaneously. What about the cab driver's fatwa? As a young man, back then, of course, me and my friends, we decided, hey, let's walk. We made it. We did it. We went to the haram. We performed tawaf and sa'i. Cool. We want to go home. We're tired. We're exhausted. We haven't slept since yesterday. And our camp is by the end of Mina, not in the beginning at the Jamarat. So it's a long walk, close to Al-Muzdalifah. It's hot, burning. Okay, we need to take a ride. Now the cab driver tripled the price or multiplied the price several times, sometimes 10 times the regular price. Why? Because they spread a rumor. This is what I call it, the cab driver's fatwa. If you don't make it to Mina before sunset, then your hajj is either invalid or you have to rectify that by offering a dam. The word dam means blood, to offer a sacrifice, to slaughter a sheep. That's called fidya. This is false. This is not true whatsoever. With regards to spending the nights in Mina, the 11th night, the 11th and the 12th and the 13th is optional, that you should spend more than half of the night. Between Maghrib and Fajr, divided by 2, 5 hours. So if you stay 5.5 hours, you're cool, you're fine. So if you go to Mecca, if you go to perform tawaf, if you go to Aziziyah, if you hang around, you're fine. You've done what is obligatory. You finish your tawaf and sa'i, tawaf al-ifada, and want to return back to Mina, and you were not able to make it before sunset. What is going to happen after this call, inshallah, son? Yeah, okay. We're talking about returning from Mecca to Mina on the 10th day. What if the person sat out, performed tawaf al-ifada and the sa'i, and grabbed a sandwich and waiting for a bus, waiting for a pickup truck, waiting for whatever? Nothing is available. It's already approaching sunset, no problem. It's already sunset, no problem. Isha, Fajr, I'm trying. I can't find any means of transportation. You're not blameworthy whatsoever. What decides and what determines whether you are to be blamed or not? If the shortcoming is from you, if you're lazy, if you went back to the hotel to rest and you didn't go to Mina, that's your choice. Then you have to offer a kafara for not spending the night or most of the night in Mina. Again, what is required, what is mandatory is to spend most of the night or more than half of the night. So if the whole night is 11 hours, so 5.5 hours is midnight. From sunset, you can 5.5 hours. If you give it another half hour, then you leave, fine. If you arrive after sunset, Still, there is plenty of time, because this, when I say more than half of the night, it doesn't have to begin at sunset. So if you go after sunset, you go at 7, 8, 9, 10, there is still plenty of time until Fajr. Okay, I hope this issue is very clear.